everybody. Happy Monday, or whenever you're watching this, happy day. It could be a Tuesday, a Thursday, Friday, whenever you are catching up on the episode, if you're watching the replay. I am Maria Rybka, and I am helping others bust the stress, clear it out of your life so you can live a more productive, more efficient, and happy life. So today is actually episode 6. And I hope you guys had a great weekend. If you were watching this in order and you were able to watch Friday's episode, I gave you a little task to try to meditate this weekend. And some of you referred back and said, I do a form of meditation in the morning, and I actually have been doing it for a while, and it's been very effective for me. I shared a couple of other strategies in addition to just meditating and quieting the mind. I shared about using a process called Direct Connect, where you actually dump your ideas, or not your ideas, but God's ideas to you, and keep a list and make that your to-do list. And I talked about simple 1-2 breathing, trying to gain control of your focus by using the 1-2 breathing, and just really redirecting with a phrase maybe. So if your thoughts get off track, you get back to a phrase. So there were some strategies on Friday's episode. If you didn't watch it, go back to that episode. Just like any other episode, there may be a time a month from now where you're struggling with maybe today's topic, which is the morning routine, and you're going to be thinking like, okay, what did she say again about morning routine? My morning is getting out of control and I need to get control. So those episodes are there for you under the video section of our Facebook group, and they're there for you as long as I can leave them there. I feel like it's an important thing to share topic after topic after topic in this 30-day journey so that you can actually really bust the stress. But if you can't get to them all, don't be stressed about it. Go back to them later. Okay, you want to go back, use them as a resource when later you're thinking, okay, I really need to do meditation. How do I do that again? So you can go back. You can go back to it. Good morning. I see Michelle is with us. I see Sue is with us. That's wonderful. I'm excited about today's topic because I know that the few people that are already on here can really benefit from tweaking some of the morning routine. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more in depth. Meditation is part of that morning routine. So going back to Friday's topic and using that as part of today's topic is going to be important. So meditation allows you to close your mind, quiet your mind. If you can take time to do it in the morning, that's when your mind is most open. And that's a really great practice to do, because sometimes we are on information overload and we have to put those files where they belong. And if we don't take the time to do that, they creep up. And I've shared some personal stories along the way about some of those thoughts that creep up. And they creep up and they impact what perceived perceptions we have of ourselves and our expectations, and they affect us in a stressful way some of the times. Well, today we're going to talk about the rest of the morning and how you can structure it to make the most of your day, okay? Because that's what we want to do. We want to make the most of our day. Taking time to organize yourself by doing simple things every morning can actually be a vehicle to helping you stop working so hard and actually help you to start working more efficiently. So we want to think about that. Good morning, Alan. Welcome. So glad you're here today. See, we can work smarter and we can work more efficiently. And the practices that I am going to describe to you today come from a book called The Miracle Morning. I know, Alan, you're familiar with it. I'm going to share 3 practices today, and then tomorrow part 2 will be the next 3. Good morning, Janet. Some of you, when I reached out and said, hey, what do you need help with? What's stressing you out? And what do you need help with? Some of you came up with, I need help in the morning. I feel most stressed in the morning and I need help with that. So I really think this will help you. Most of you that work have trouble just simply getting out of the door in the morning. So it's a challenge at times to really put in place more practices that you think are going to take more time when you don't even think you have enough time to do what you're already doing. But if you think of it in a way that these practices can actually make you more efficient, and by practicing them actually helps build your energy, helps you to see your priorities more clearly, helps you to find a more stress free, productive flow during your day, it's like taking one thing and changing it in for others. Because you can waste a lot of time during the day being unenergetic, not having the energy, having that clogged up mind. All of that can take time during the day. And so you trade about 15, 30 minutes in the morning for a nice routine that sets the stage for clearing all of that, and you gain maybe an hour to 2 hours of productivity during the day. I mean, if you do the math, it works out better, right? So even if you have to wake up a few minutes earlier, and in this case, I'm going to suggest that these practices that we talk about today, the 3 practices that I'm going to share today, will take you at least about 10 minutes. And then tomorrow, when you top those on top of that, maybe 30 minutes. So wake up earlier? Yes. Clear out some things that you're doing in the morning that maybe are not serving you well? Yes, it takes some time to figure out what that is. So we're going to talk about this energetic, productive process, and what is it? What is it that makes your morning so miracle? Well, the first process is silence. And we did talk about that. We talked about that in depth on Friday. You can use meditation, you can use prayer, you can use reflection, maybe gratitude. When you just silence your mind for 5 minutes using one of those things, maybe you're not really into the strategies of meditation that I shared on Friday. Maybe you just want to sit and pray and just say your prayers. Maybe you just want to just sit and reflect. You know, Birdie and I this morning, we sat in total silence with each other. And my instinct was to start a conversation. Like, I really thought, well, maybe I should get into a conversation. Maybe we should, finish what was unresolved over the weekend. But I just sat in silence with him. And it's interesting because as we were sitting in silence, some of those thoughts that were needing to get filed were getting filed. And we had a better conversation, that more efficient conversation, because we were able to just sit for a few minutes. And I know that sounds like, okay, well, that's not that hard, but I know for me, it was just training of my own self, because I always, got to use the time wisely. You can't just can't sit. And we have to, in order to get more efficient, we have to take that quiet time. So silence is the very first step. And whether you just are breathing, whether you are reflecting quietly, whether you are praying, or maybe you're showing gratitude, just thinking of the things that you should be grateful for instead of all the things that we're always looking to do. That is silence that is used well. And it is really a great strategy to start the morning right away with. And yeah, I know, Ellen, it is so hard in the morning to just be quiet. It is just so hard. But if you can get that down, your brain will start filing things naturally for yourself, and you'll be more efficient in other thoughts throughout the day. And that's pretty big. We talked about that benefit of meditation, but if you're not already convinced, let me tell you about a Harvard study. Welcome, Nicole. A Harvard study showed that just 8 weeks of meditation could lead to an increased gray matter density in the hippocampus. That's the area that's known for learning, for memory, remember my memory issues, and in structures that build self-awareness, compassion, and introspection. So just being able to spend that time quietly can build all of that in our mind. So if all those things were built and stronger, don't you think things would flow a little bit better? I mean, if you're just not allowing the brain to get nourished that way, you're going to actually stop yourself from progressing sometimes. The second process that they talk about in the book is affirmations. Okay, so you spend some time in silence, then you spend some time in affirmations. And affirmations, they're statements, and I have some on my phone and I just swipe through them. Okay, I've created them, I have them there, I spend a few minutes. It doesn't really take me long, but I say them. And what the affirmations do is they help reset the mindset. It's hard to stay motivated and confident in a busy world, and those feelings that we have of expectations that we put on ourselves sometimes lead us to stressful feelings, and they cause that stress response that we've talked about in our body. If we try to change our subconscious thoughts by telling ourselves good statements, then that programming will start to change, and we can express more positiveness throughout our day. So affirmations are telling yourself who you want to be, what you want to accomplish, and how are you going to accomplish it. Now, there's been many years of affirmations being taught, and sometimes they teach you to lie to yourself. And I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. I don't want you to say, I am a millionaire, I look great in a bikini. Those two things are a little bit exaggerated. You're not going to affirm that those things are happening. A good way to really work on affirmations is to think about what is truly where you want to be. How are you going to get there? And if you continue to state those things to yourself, you can reprogram that subconscious. If you use affirmations that state what you want and how you will get there, your subconscious will actually start working for you. So, we all talk about having a personal assistant that maybe could help us, and we don't have the money to do that, but you have a subconscious that could actually work for you. You have to tell it what to do, though. You have to tell it what you want it to do. And if you don't take the time to do that, you're working against yourself. So instead of saying I look good in a bikini, it's not what I'm talking about. It's a statement like, I'm 100% committed to losing 10 pounds so that I have more energy and that I could set an example for my family. Maybe that would be a good affirmation. I am committed to calling 3 people a day so that I can actually reach out and make better connections with people. So they're affirmations of what you want and why you want them, basically. And even add that specific how you're going to do those things, okay? So I am committed to losing 10 pounds by not eating a Twinkie for breakfast, okay? I mean, you get what I'm saying. You have to be a little bit more specific about what you want, maybe why you want it, and how you're going to get there. So I'm committed to losing 10 pounds by not eating that Twinkie because I know that I will set an example for my family. And if you say that over and over and over and over again each morning, your subconscious actually starts to believe it. Like, that's okay. If you don't eat the Twinkie, you're going to lose the 10 pounds and you're going to set an example. So you're actually retraining the brain to actually do what you want it to do. So you have your silent time, you have your affirmations, you're reciting those every morning. Right now we're up to 8 whole minutes. So you're setting your time on your alarm clock 8 minutes prior. Pretty easy, right? The third process in the morning, in the miracle morning, was visualizing, okay? Visualizing is a way of picturing what you want to happen in your life. It's a technique for using your imagination to actually create what you want in your life. We have that imagination, but let's make it work for us. I think this is the hardest one for me because when I'm confused on what I want, it's hard for me to visualize. So you do have to take some time and ask yourself, well, what do I want 5 years? What do I want 90 days from now? What do I want a year from now? And start visualizing. I sometimes don't allow myself to feel that excitement of what it would feel like if I had those things. I always think work, and things will fall into place. But you actually need to take the time to visualize where you want to be and what you want to have accomplished. And it's more scientific than even just this feely thing. There's actually mirror neurons that seem to allow us to improve our abilities, not only by watching other people perform well, but actually by visualizing ourselves performing well. Okay, so now if you are picturing yourself studying under a mentor or learning from someone else by watching what they're doing, now you can actually think as well and to visualize yourself doing that and perform better. In many cases, the brain cannot tell between visualization and the experiences that it's actually having. So it's kind of a trick to the brain, but hey, why not use what God gave us for our benefit in living a stress-free life? So if you start visualizing yourself eating something other than the Twinkie, you will actually be accomplishing it easier because your brain will think that that's a normal thing for you. It'll be normal to picture eating something other than the Twinkie, and that stress of not eating what you normally eat in the morning will be easier for you. There was even a study that showed weightlifters, these were experienced weightlifters, actually increased their muscle mass through vivid visualization. Now, it's not because they actually were working at it. They were using the visualization in the study to show that they can actually increase their muscle mass. Now, I think that's incredible. Obviously we need to do exercise, we need to do those things, but these weightlifters were increasing their muscle mass by visualizing lifting their weights. Now, we're going to talk tomorrow about exercise in the morning, and I don't think we should visualize ourselves on the treadmill, but you can actually do a little bit of this kind of visualization to get a lot of benefit. And you got to experience that. You have to practice that, okay? I'm sure they had longer sessions than what I'm suggesting for you, okay? They were probably very intent, and of course it was a study that was done, so it was very controlled, and not one day do it, one day not. But if you're doing 5 minutes of silence, 3 minutes of your affirmations, and about 3 minutes of your visualization, you're up to about 10 minutes. You may want to focus at first on something that's very specific for your short and long terms. What could you actually do to achieve your short and long term goals, and visualize that. Maybe look at things that are causing you stress and pick one of those things to visualize what it would take action-wise to remove that stress. If I had to think right now of like one thing that stresses me out, that still gives me a little bit of undue stress is laundry, okay? My husband loves to do laundry, so yay for me, right? But it's always piled up because he's like addicted to doing the laundry. And I see it, I perceive the pressure of it being an ever-ending job, so I feel the stress when I see it piled on the couch or piled in the rooms and not put away. So how could I actually fix that using visualization? And remember, this is a journey that we're on together. So that is one area that I should start working on. And maybe I can visualize a joyful feeling when I see the clothes. So start visualizing that I come out of the bedroom and I see the pile of clothes and like, oh, yay, he did more laundry today. If I could actually visualize it enough to feel it, I could actually trick my subconscious into not having that stress response when I see the laundry. Or maybe I can start visualizing that the girls will start putting it away without being asked. So I'm visualizing that they're just putting away laundry, that I come out of my bedroom and they're putting away laundry without it being on their chore list. Those are simple examples, but think about what's stressing you and try to visualize actions or things that can happen to relieve that stress. Okay, can you think of something maybe that would be something you can visualize maybe away? Visualize what you want instead of what you're experiencing. So there are other practices. The 3 practices we talked about today, if you could start implementing them, and if you've started the episodes last week, you know meditation was already one of them. So now you're only adding affirmations and visualizations, and you'll find your sweet spot on how much time you think you should, spend on that. Maybe it's only 5 minutes, 1 minute, and 1 minute. You got to play around with that. But it's a total right now of maybe 10 minutes, waking up 10 minutes earlier for you. And I sincerely believe that when you have these routines in the morning that spend time on you, but they're specific. It's not just hanging out with coffee and reading the newspaper and getting more overloaded information, but you're actually spending time and clarifying and redefining your purpose and visualizing where you want to be. When you spend that time consistently, that's when you can actually move forward. Okay, and I have some some affirmations on my phone. If you want them, you can private message me and I'll send you the file, and maybe they will help you set up your own affirmations. And I just swipe through them. I just swipe through them every morning. And not perfect. Trust me, it's not every single morning I'm doing my routine perfectly. I want to, and I know I should be, and it's a journey because we have to bust the stress regularly to make progress. So I'm gonna get better at it. I hope you get better at it. Michelle has a question, so now let's see what questions we have. How do you quiet your mind when you are worried about something and the outcome is out of your hands? Okay, Michelle, now you, in your second question, answered that yourself. When the outcome is out of your hands, you have to come back to a statement that reminds yourself that you don't have that control. And in the first episode, I talked about like just even the simple serenity prayer. You know, God, give me the wisdom when I can control something and when I can't, and actually when is it different? And it's important to come up with, I think, a statement for yourself that helps you remember that when that thought comes in your mind about something you don't have control over. Now you do have to spend some time to decide whether you have control over it or not, because you might have some changes that you can do to change that. But if you've gone through that thought process and really taken a few minutes to figure, is there anything I can do to change this situation right now? And there was a worksheet under the files section of our Facebook page that helps you kind of walk through that. There are some spontaneous stress moments, and then there's some ongoing. Some of the spontaneous stuff you can't change. Some of it you can, because if you're doing something that you're causing that every time, you can change it. And then there's some ongoing stresses, and if you really explore whether or not you can change some of those ongoing stresses and what your behaviors can do to affect that, you should. But if it's totally out of your control, there's a friend that lives hundreds of miles away that's sick, and there's nothing you can do about it except prayer. You have to find out from really processing it what your role is in the situation, and then I really think you should go back to a mantra or a statement to yourself that causes you to release that. Whenever the thought pops in your mind, I know God is in control. I know I've done the best I can. I know prayer is all I can do in this situation. One statement that you just keep going back to every single time you feel that worry come on. And I know, because I worry about the girls. I mean, Kaylee's just learning how to drive now. So when I was driving home from school, I was driving and I was like, oh my gosh, when she gets in the roads around here, how is she gonna do that? I mean, your first instinct is to worry, but I don't have, what do I have control over? I have to teach her the best I can to drive the car. And then that's it. That's the control part of it that I have. I have to spend quality time teaching her to drive the car. And then I gotta let her go. So you have to figure out what role you have, and then keep going back, because I'll go out there this afternoon, that feeling will come up again that I'm worried about her driving. I gotta go right back to that statement. I'll just teach her the best I can to drive her car. Ellen says, I have several affirmations, but my favorite is, I can do whatever I need to do through Christ who strengthens me. Exactly. I mean, when you start to remind yourself of these statements that can carry you through, that's awesome. And if you add maybe something that you want, maybe something that you're really working towards, and you add that to that major statement, I will achieve this goal or that goal because I know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Then it's like being reminded every day that you're gonna accomplish that because Christ strengthens you to do that. So I think that's very powerful, and I think adding it to your goal is even more, gives you even more strength to know that you can do it. You can do it. That's awesome. Do you guys have any other questions? I know it's Monday, but I'm so excited. There were several of you on live today. If you're watching the replay, you can always comment in the questions or comment in the comments, and I always get back to you. If you do want the affirmations that I have on my phone, just to give you an idea of some of those, just private message me and I'll send you the file. I hope you got something out of today's lesson. Tomorrow's episode is about the other 3 parts of the Miracle Morning. Okay, and it's from a book called The Miracle Morning, but these are good practices that help us to get better at living a productive, stress-free life. That's the goal, right, guys? And I appreciate you guys were liking and hearting throughout the episode today. So that was exciting because it always makes me feel like, okay, that made sense. That made sense to them. You know, I'm just trying to do the best I can. So hopefully you got something out of it. Thank you. You guys have a great day.